Here's the before and here's the after. Hey everyone, Digital David here. Today in this video, I'm going to be unboxing and reviewing the Sceptre C50 49-inch curved ultra-wide gaming monitor. I did receive this product to review, but any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this product, you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in my video description below. You can see the massive retail box in packaging right here with the Sceptre logo and branding. Fantastic product photography. C50 Premier curved gaming monitor. So we have dual quad HD, guys. So 5120 by 1440p for the resolution. You can have one massive 49-inch display, or you can break it up if you want to have two 2K 27-inch displays with no bezel in the middle, which is what I'm looking forward to do that for my video editing setup going forward. I can't wait to edit videos on this thing. 120 hertz refresh rate, 32:9 aspect ratio, picture-by-picture multitasking, guys. This supports two displays side by side, or you could do all four inputs if you want. Edgeless design with the really thin bezels along the sides. 1800R for the curvature, just a nice slight bend to it, giving you that full encompassing wraparound feel. Then you can see 90% DCI P3 for our colors, and it features AMD FreeSync. We have a USB port, two HDMI 2.0 ports, up to 60 hertz supported. And then we have two DisplayPort 1.4 ports, up to 120 hertz supported. So that's how you're going to take advantage of that 120 hertz refresh rate. You have to use the DisplayPort 1.4s. And we have a headphone jack. This does have built-in speakers as well. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and look at the package contents. Here are all the package contents. First up, you can see with our product literature right here, we have our customer service and contact card, followed by our warranty information. This does come with a 1-year warranty. Then you can see we have our really nice user guide and manual with safety instructions, important information. You can see it's going to walk us through everything we need to know, from installing the stand to mounting it on the wall if we desire. Then we have a table of contents breaking down everything else that this user guide goes over, from the menu settings to the stand adjustments with our height and adjustable tilt. We have an included remote control, and it goes over all those features. You can see our connections right here, depending on how we want to configure this. The USB is a service port for the monitor, so keep that in mind. But you can see we can connect a bunch of different ways to it, and then we have our nice menu settings right here. Very helpful, very thorough, very detailed. They have a troubleshooting section, the supported DisplayPort resolutions and refresh rates, same with HDMI. So you can see that. So it looks like for HDMI, we max out at 60 hertz with the max resolution of 5120 by 1440. But it looks like if we go further down, if we did 2560 by 1440, we could get up to 120 hertz, or 1920 by 1080. And then you can see the max resolution 5120 by 1440 for DisplayPort. We can get 60 or 120, which is great. Troubleshooting section as well too. You can learn how to detach everything, how to clean the monitor. The monitor specs right here, guys. It is a VA panel, 1800R curvature, LED backlight rating of 30,000 plus hours, 350 nits brightness right there, up to 120 hertz. And we have a 4 millisecond G to G response time. And monitor display specs, if you're looking for, the weight is 20.5 pounds without the stand, or 24.73 pounds with the stand. 75 by 75 Visa mount. If you want to attach this to the wall or a different support, you can do that. And then we have the warranty information again, and that is it for the really nice and detailed user guide and manual. Then you can see we have two included DisplayPort cables. We have some wall mounting hardware right here. You can see we have those, and they're two different sizes. Then you can see we have our 3 stand-based screws for stand assembly. Our lovely Sceptre Phillips head screwdriver. We have our included remote control with 2 AAA batteries right there, giving us full control over the monitor. And then we have our power cord, just our standard generic power cord, which is great, so we don't have an external power supply. It's all internal, so we can swap out the cords. Always love to see that. Then you can see we have our stand right here in 2 pieces, so a nice metallic base. That looks great. Check that out. Nice red accent too. Cable management slot right there for us. Everything looks great. And then last but not least, we have the monitor. Let's go ahead, let's look at that in more detail. Here's a look at the monitor. You can see the back side right here with the Sceptre logo and branding. A nice little air grill right here. Then you can see we have our main area where we can attach a third-party stand if we want. So we can use the included hardware to make this a 75 by 75 VESA mount compatible monitor if you want to use those third-party stands. But we can also install the included stand, which is what we're going to be doing in this video. You can see down here we have a removable panel. Check that out. And then we have our stand release button right here. If we ever need to remove the stand, we can do it very easily with this button. Then we have all of our clearly labeled ports down here. Our AC port for our power, our USB port. Again, that's going to be for them to use for troubleshooting the monitor if you ever have any issues. 2 HDMI 2.0 ports, so rated at 60 hertz each if you're going to be using the max resolution 5120 by 1440. Then you can see we have DisplayPort 1 and 2. Both of them are 1.4 ports, so we can get 120 hertz out of both of them. And you can see we got our headphone jack right there, clearly marked and labeled for you like all Sceptre monitors, which I'm a big fan of. Very easy, straightforward, and it's so helpful that they actually put the max refresh rate that we can get. We have our model right here, the X50. And then we actually have, you might not be able to see it, but our menu buttons are right here on the bottom as well too. So we have all of our different controls from power to menu and then our navigational keys. Now let's go ahead, let's put this cover back on. So it just snaps right back in place like so. And let's go ahead, let's get the stand installed. So the stand comes in 2 different pieces that we have to attach together with the included 3 screws right here. You can see it's labeled base screw for us. So let's go ahead, let's take those screws out. We're going to use our included screwdriver as well. I love the Sceptre Phillips head screwdrivers. These are awesome. And then you can see the 2 pieces right here are just going to go together like so. So just line it up. And then you can see from this side, that's where we're going to put the 3 screws in. And then we're going to tighten them down. So let's go ahead. Let's drop one in just like you see right here. And then we can take the screwdriver and we can tighten it down in place. Be careful not to over tighten or strip anything. So there we go, we got 1 installed. Now you're gonna repeat that for the last 2. So there you go, you can see we got all 3 screws installed right here. Now let's go ahead, let's get it attached. So it's just gently gonna press in place at the top first, and then it's gonna snap in at the bottom. So you can see, there we go, it was that simple. Now we have everything installed. Let's go ahead, let's stand the monitor up. So here we go, you can see we got it all set up right here. Check it out, look at how big and massive this is. We have a beautiful stand and a beautiful display, I may add. So we have the ability to give us a nice rotation to the left and to the right. And then we do have the ability to adjust the height with this. So check that out. That's our max height right there. Here's our minimum height. And then you can see we can do a little bit of tilt adjustment. That's our max tilt down. And then we can tilt it back. There's our max tilt back. So we can tilt it up and down, max up, max down. And then we can rotate it to the left. There we go. And to the right. We're at the minimum height, and then we can adjust it to our maximum height right there. Now let's go ahead, let's power it on and try it out. So here you go, you can see we got the monitor plugged in and powered on. Everything's working great. We're in our Windows Advanced Display settings. You can see 5120 by 1440 for our resolution and 120 hertz refresh rate. We're using DisplayPort, so everything is operating as it should. Let me go over to the other side. We have so much screen real estate. It's amazing how far this monitor spans, but you can see what our desktop looks like. It is beautiful. Guys, it's equivalent to having 2 27-inch monitors side by side without any bezels separating them. So everything looks great with our nice 1800R curvature, beautiful VA panel. Very, very nice. Now let's go ahead, let's go over some of the menu settings. The monitor menu controls can be found right under the Sceptre logo at the center of the monitor. Fantastic placement in my opinion, so really well thought out, as opposed to having to reach to the furthest points of the monitor on either side to adjust or find the menu buttons, or on the back side even. So really nice that they're right here, easily accessible, great key for you, and then the button controls are right underneath the icons right there. Or you can use the included remote control. So we have that set up with the 2 included batteries. So let's go ahead, let's bring up the menu right here. You can see we have multiple options. First, let's look at the quick start. You can see all the different settings that we can easily change right here, from volume to aspect ratio. So you can see we can change our input source, our blue light settings, and FreeSync we can easily turn on or off. Very responsive too with the remote. Love the features of this. Next, you can see we have our picture settings right here. Keep in mind, if you don't know what a setting means, they have a brief description in the bottom corner walking you through everything you need to know right here. So check that out. You can see we have probably the most important picture setting is your multi-window mode right here. We'll look at that in more detail in a minute. Then you can see our color settings. So you can see everything that we can adjust. And again, they walk you through a brief description of everything so you can learn more about it. Really nice, especially if you don't have the user guide and manual handy. And then last but not least, we have the system settings right here. So we can turn overdrive on or off, FreeSync again, HDR, a lot of different modes, our OSD settings as well too. You can see that. And then we got our volume again, and we can reset everything to our system defaults if we want. Now let's go ahead, let's really dive into the picture settings. So back in the menu, guys, now we can dive into the picture settings right here and really go over the multi-window mode. So we can go ahead, we can use the remote control, we can turn that on. And then once we turn it on, we have access to a couple different options. We can do a 2-window mode or a 4-window mode, depending on the input devices that we have connected here. So let's go ahead, let's select it from the menu. I'll show you guys, but we can also use the remote control as a quick shortcut, which is nice. But here we go, we can turn it on and you can see we have different options, picture by picture 2 or picture by picture 4. Then whatever mode we select, we are then able to adjust the inputs as well. So in this case, we have DisplayPort 1 connected and HDMI 2. So let's push the button right here. That's gonna bring us to the 2 window option first. So you can see we're gonna have both right here. So DP1 and HDMI 2, they're both on the screen right now. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Like we said before, this is two 27-inch monitors operating side by side. So, but there's no bezel in the middle now. We can stretch our windows. We still have access to, you know, the window quick snap. So we can do 4 different quadrants on each one if we wanted. So you can see that in action right here. But we can go into the menu settings, or we can use this again. We can push it again. And now we're going to be taken to the 4-windowed option if we had 4 inputs connected. So this is what's going to look like with 4 inputs connected. Just to show you guys though, for this video, we're just duplicating both of the inputs already. I don't actually have 4 inputs connected, but this is what it's going to look like. This is what you'll be able to see if you want to connect 4 different video sources, 2 with HDMI and 2 with DisplayPort. Don't forget, if you're using HDMI and you want that max resolution, you'll be at the max resolution, but you'll get 60 hertz, unlike DisplayPort where we can get the 120 hertz. So check that out. That's for side by side. We can easily turn it back off. So you can see we're going back to default, which is just our main DisplayPort. And then let's go ahead. Let's go back to the side by side version. I love this one so much. This is what I'm planning on using to edit my video. So I can just take Premiere, drag it across the whole screen, and edit away very, very happily. So, but I want to show you guys when we have the menu settings pulled back up that we can tweak those sources here. So here we go. You can see we can swap the windows if we wanted, if we want, you know, one to the left versus one to the right. And then you can see we can re-choose our sources right here. So multi-window, secondary input. Do you see that? So we can change those if we need to. And then let's go ahead, let's look at it for all 4. And same thing, we can pick and choose which inputs we're going to use. If we do want to duplicate something for some reason, we can do that right from within those same menu settings. So I'm going to bring it up. And then you can see if we go down here, you can choose the individual inputs, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We can also choose the audio source. We have that very easily accessible on the remote control too. So we can choose which audio source we want. And again, we can swap the sources as well too with the remote control, control our audio. So very, very helpful, very cool. Love the picture settings. This is amazing that it's built right in, and then we can really utilize all that extra screen space. Now let's go ahead, let's look at some of the different color profile settings with a video as well as with an image. So we got some 32:9 drone footage pulled up right here by MXW. And watch as we kind of let this video play for a couple of seconds. We're going to swap through the different picture settings so you guys can get a feel for what it's like with all the different preset options for you. Don't forget, they do have a user mode as well if you want to adjust and tweak all the settings to your preferences depending maybe on the content you're consuming or the game you're playing. So let's go ahead. Let's let it play for a second here. You can see how everything looks when we can utilize that massive 32:9 aspect ratio. And now we're going to cycle through the different settings. So just use the arrow key and you can see we're in the user setting right now that I haven't tweaked. This is just the default user setting. Then we can go to our movie setting right here. So you can see the movie setting and how everything changes. Then we have our eco setting. So you can see if you want to conserve some power and energy, you can do that. And then we have our FPS setting right here. Pretty cool. And then we have our RTS setting. You can see how that looks. And then we're back to our standard setting. We'll cycle through one more time. So here's user, here's movie, here's eco, here's FPS, here's RTS, and you can see the different details and things that are, you know, shown or not shown or washed out depending on the mode that you're using. But beautiful, beautiful display. I cannot stress that enough, especially if you can find content to utilize the 32:9 aspect ratio. So let's cycle back to the standard settings. There's a quick look. Now let's go ahead. Let's do this again with an image on the screen. So now you can see what it looks like to have an image taking up that beautiful 32:9 aspect ratio right here. We're in standard mode. When I'm looking at the monitor as I'm filming this, it looks warmer in person than what it's going to come across to you guys through the video. But let's cycle through them. So here's standard. Then we have user, which hasn't been tweaked from the defaults right out of the box. Then we have movie. Then we have eco. Then you can see with FPS. Here's RTS. And then we're back to standard. Now we're ready to conduct our input lag test. Input lag is different from the response time. This monitor has a 4 millisecond response time. Typically, those response times are measured in the amount of time it takes a pixel to change from black to white or from one shade of gray to another. In regards to input lag, it's true to its name. We're basically measuring the delay between the screen and a connected device like a keyboard or a mouse. So let's go ahead, let's get our results right here. So first up, this will be our lowest measurement. 19 milliseconds we're showing roughly. Next up, let's go ahead, let's see. We're having 23 milliseconds or so, give or take. 24. And then down at the bottom, this will be our maximum measurement. Okay, I mean, that's right on par with the other Sceptre monitors that I've reviewed. They're around 18, 19, 20 for the input lag. So we could say for this one, around 19 milliseconds, give or take, right there for our input lag. I've reviewed monitors that have an input lag of basically 1 millisecond to, you know, the Sceptre ones that are coming in right around that 18, 19 milliseconds for our input lag. Now I wanted to show you guys what it's like to view content and do some web browsing with this monitor. Check it out. Everything looks great. This is if we're just using it as one massive 49-inch ultra-wide monitor. We got Amazon pulled up right here. Look at that. Very nice. Really cool that we can see the whole menu here. But keep in mind that the content is not optimized for that 32:9 aspect ratio. We're going to have a lot of blank space on both sides. You can see the tiles, the graphics, everything isn't built out to go any further with that. We can also pull up the trending page on YouTube. You can see what that's like right here. So very cool. Same thing, guys. If you click on all these videos that are not optimized for 32:9, it will just go into full screen and you'll have black space on both sides. Let me go ahead. Let me show you that right here. So let's click on this one. You can see, let's go full screen. And there we go. You can get a feel for that. So we have a lot of extra space on both sides, but everything looks great. Fantastic viewing angles as well, too. I think the 1800R curvature really helps compensate for this being a VA panel versus an IPS panel in regards to viewing angles. So very happy. Obviously, if you're going to be, sitting dead center, maybe a little bit off center, you'll be fine with the viewing angles with this monitor. And obviously, you can also adjust the stand too to try to improve some of that from your eyes perspective. But keep in mind, off to the side, the viewing angle will obviously get worse. And I think there's a little bit more glare too with a monitor like this because there's just so much extra screen real estate. Okay, now let's go to our next tab. You can see next up we got The Verge right here. So just a popular tech blog, same thing, just like Amazon or YouTube or any other website. You can see that we don't have a lot of optimization for this aspect ratio. So you have to seek out content if you're going to be using it just as one massive monitor. I would recommend using it as two 27-inch monitors. We can click on this article though. You can see right there how it's going to populate. Very nice. Everything looks great. Really clear, crisp, sharp text. Really good colors too. So very happy with the web browsing experience using this monitor. Now it's time to test out the built-in speaker quality. We'll be using our binaural microphone to give you guys a realistic sound sample like you were sitting here in the studio with me. We have the speaker volume level set to 75 and we can adjust that throughout this test. I'll just use remote control, but that'll give us a good range of what it's going to sound like. We'll be using the music from the album Golden Hour by Music Chef. So let's go ahead, let's play the song Solo Company, and let's try them out. Now we're going to play a couple seconds from the song Handmade. So the speaker quality is about what you would expect from a monitor with built-in speakers. I always say I'd rather have the speakers and not need the speakers than need the speakers and not have the speakers. So first up, you can see we got Fortnite loaded right here. So for our settings, we have our max resolution of 5120 by 1440p at 120 FPS. But we have the medium settings to try to keep the screen from tearing as much, but you can see it's a lot of stress trying to push those specs with this massive screen on our RTX 3070 and i9 9900K. So you can see how responsive everything is right here. You can get a feel for it. Okay, so now you can see we've tweaked the settings, and I want to show you guys a different viewing angle too. So now we have our full resolution still 30 FPS in the high settings for the quality. You can see how it looks right here. Got him. But check out the immersive viewing experience as you game. Look at everything we can see in the frame. Definitely an advantage to have a monitor this wide for sure. Got him. Now I changed up the monitor viewing angle again so you guys can see it head on with the camera. Got him. Oh, he got me. That was easy. I love when they're not playing. All right, look at that. We got the victory. Now you can see we got Warzone pulled up right here. Look at how good everything looks. Amazing. Check that out, guys. Fantastic quality with our max specs. You can see how everything looks right here.
Move to secure. Enemy soldier incoming.
Come on. Did I get him? Oh, no. So close. No.
All supply boxes found. Solid work. Be advised, friendly precision airstrike inbound. Hostile spotted.
No, they got me. I had it one up on them and I couldn't do it. So after gaming on this monitor, I gotta say a couple of things. First one is to take advantage of this ultra wide, you really got to have a fantastic system to push those pixels to give you that high frame rate and that 2K resolution across 49 inches. If you don't, you'll just have to reduce the resolution, the FPS, or a combination of both to enjoy this monitor. Also, identify and find content that takes advantage of the 32:9 aspect ratio. You will really enjoy that. In fact, I would argue that this monitor, having all of that extra screen real estate, can give you a slight advantage in your gameplay because you'll be able to see so much more of the environment to process it that much faster than your competitor. So here it is. I'm so excited to show you guys what it looks like if you're using Adobe Premiere Pro and if you want to have the picture-by-picture settings. Here it is, guys. This is exactly what I was looking for, to have an ultra-wide monitor to be able to stretch out my video timeline so you guys can see what that looks like right here. So now basically I'm editing on two monitors, even though it's one monitor, and we do not have the bezel line in the middle. Look at that, guys. It's just one massive screen to edit videos on. So let me share with you guys my final thoughts after using this monitor. First, I'm gonna say overall, it's a fantastic choice if you're in the market for an ultra-wide 49-inch monitor. Keep in mind, whatever monitor you land on, please, please, please promise me that you will get one that is at least 1440p. Do not buy a 1080p monitor. Get a 1440p or greater monitor. Because of all the screen real estate, you're gonna want those extra pixels. It will look way better. Trust me on that. Whatever brand you land on, whatever one you decide to go with, just make sure you shell out a little bit extra to get 1440p or beyond. You will thank me for that later. But the curvature's perfect. The resolution's great. I'm happy with the HDMI ports, the display ports, everything that we get. The remote control is a nice touch. Very nice and useful to have this for a monitor this large. It's going to do everything I need it to do and more because, again, my primary purpose with this monitor is content creation. As you can see, though, no issues with the gaming performance side of things as long as you have a powerful enough PC to really push the performance of this monitor. And if you want to make sure you find content that utilizes that ultra-wide aspect ratio. In regards to things I'd want to see improved in the future, the biggest one for me would be having functional USB out the back, a couple of USB 3.0 ports where we could plug in like a keyboard and mouse. That would be really cool. Other than that, maybe some RGB lights on the back. If they're so bright, we could have this like cool glow around it so when it's up against the wall, you can actually see it and appreciate it. But if not, that's not that big of a deal to me. And I'm very grateful it has those built-in speakers. Even if I'm not going to primarily use them, I really want to have that option in the future if I ever need to use it for whatever reason may come my way. But overall, so far, so good. Well, that concludes our video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget the product link will be in our video description below. Please go ahead, check it out, and do your shopping from there. Any purchase made through that link helps support our channel at no additional cost to you. So we're really grateful and thankful for all of your support. While you're at it, can you go ahead and hit that like button for us? And subscribe to our channel. We have new content coming out daily, and we don't want you to miss anything. Please go ahead and give us a follow online and make it a clean sweep. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, Discord. You can message us on WeChat. Check out our website and join our free newsletter. Thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget, new content daily, and we can't wait to see you in our next video.